Most of the retirement advice that exists today is geared towards young people, which is ironic since those closest to retirement age need the advice most. It's usually assumed that older people have things all figured out. However, since you clicked on this video, you know this isn't necessarily true. Here, we will be discussing what retirement planning in your 50s looks like. Get to know the quickest way to get your affairs in order before the time comes. So, our first piece of advice for you is to calm down. Even though it might seem as though you're running out of time, you'll have about 15 more years to get your affairs in order. That's more than enough time. Also, being so old, you already have an advantage. Whatever financial advice and financial projections you make have more significance for you than for a younger person. The financial landscape changes every day, and so you have the best chance of your goals being realized without any hiccup than someone younger. But then, do you really need a retirement plan? The answer is a resounding yes. Even if you're earning a significant amount of money from your salaried job, you won't be able to sustain the rest of your days on the back of your final paycheck. It isn't just about comfort. The goal here is to create a financial gateway for you to live life to the fullest. This is the time for you to realize all those dreams you put on hold while you were hard at work. But then, as good as this sounds, a retirement plan isn't just about that. Other things you can achieve include taking care of your family members, getting better healthcare, and by extension, better life expectancy, and paying less on taxes. And so, now that all that has been covered, how exactly should you go about retirement planning in your 50s? Well, there are a number of key things you need to have covered. Basically, though, you need to create a retirement checklist. So, what should the retirement checklist entail? Well, let's cover the elements one by one. First off, we have debt. At this stage, it is just as important to pay off debts as it is to avoid getting into new debt. You have to realize that things have changed for you, and you no longer have as much leeway for liability as you may have had in the past. Young people can afford to take on heavy debts because they have a lot of time and opportunity to pay them back. They take on a lot of risk because if they fail, the consequences will not be as devastating. As an old person, you should avoid playing with debt the way you would have when you were younger. Otherwise, what little funds you manage to accrue towards your retirement might vanish when you least expect it due to owed debts. The second thing on the checklist is a retirement fund. And this is a very huge point. If your planning for retirement begins at the age of 50, that means you have a lot of ground to cover in little time. And so, you need to be very cutthroat about your retirement fund. Usually, people build up their retirement funds by telling their employer or their bank to divert a small percentage of their salary towards it. Over time, this small percentage adds up, becoming a significant sum that can be relied on for the rest of their lives. For a person in your 50s, you can't afford to build up a retirement fund using a small percentage of your salary. The percentage in question should be as reasonably big as it can be. This way, the retirement funds will build up quicker. It's worth mentioning that you don't need to wring your regular account dry in order to beef up your retirement fund. Just make sure the split is as large as it can be without neglecting your other financial obligations. Okay, retirement fund aside, the best thing to do when planning for retirement in your 50s would be to start looking for other sources of income. At this stage in your life, you should be particularly well-positioned for this kind of business venture. You might think that you do not have the business acumen for such a thing. Well, in that case, there are two things you can do. The first thing is to learn. The second thing is to employ the services of an asset management firm. These two things should be done in tandem so that as the asset management firm works on your money, you learn more about what they are doing with it. This way, you won't be left behind. There are so many potential sources of income. Some of them include stock, cryptocurrency, real estate, bonds, and options. With these secondary sources of income, you will be able to live comfortably in retirement. The money you had worked all this time to acquire will be working for you instead. This aside, there are other key principles you must exercise. Otherwise, your retirement checklist will never be realized. You need to stay informed and disciplined. If not, then you might as well give up your dream of trying to plan for retirement at age 50. Although retirement planning in your 50s can seem intimidating, It need not be. By following the tips in this video, you should be in a pretty good spot. In any case, to learn more, please check out other videos on our channel. There's a lot more where this came from, and by the time you're through, you're going to walk away informed and engaged. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoy the video. Until next time, have a good day. Catch you later.